Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Hollywood and China. It seems like the romance is over. It's ending. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think there have been a number of factors in that. One of the biggest factors, of course, is that China is making its own movies.
Yes, and some of them did really well. Some
of them are destroying anything Hollywood put out. And the other thing is that there's been a lot of controversy around some Chinese actors and directors. It's kind of a backfire. We're going to talk about this article that just came out from The Wrap, interviewing this guy who said that, it's kind of a disaster because, Disney hired Chloe Zhao and Simu Liu for movies that were designed to appeal to a Chinese audience, only to have them say things that helped get the movies blacklisted from China.
Well, even Mulan, they went and let them, changed everything to appeal to them, and then they didn't like it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, this has happened on multiple occasions. So I think what is going on here is China's making movies for China. Hollywood has tried and failed to make movies that appeal to Chinese audiences, and I think they're just kind of giving up at this point. They're like, why bother? And
are they though? Or are they going to try harder now?
I
mean, honestly, they need to just give up and be like, why bother? Because they just want the Chinese money. But a lot of the big blockbusters that are coming out, like Spider-Man and things, they didn't even have release dates in China.
No.
And it still did fine.
Yeah, it did fine. So, very interesting. We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 260,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about Hollywood. We talk about the Chinese box office because it's been incredibly important to Hollywood. We talk about Disney and Disney chasing the Chinese money, the Chinese chuck wagon. And I don't think they're doing that as much now with Bob Chapek.
No, because that was Iger's thing.
That was definitely Iger's thing. I mean, build 2 theme parks over there.
Well, yeah, and they said he was trying to get an ambassadorship over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so this is very interesting, though. They talked to this dude. It's called Red Carpet. It's a book about, Hollywood's relationship with China. And they talked about the Chinese backlash against Simu Liu and Chloe Zhao. Both of them said things that China didn't like. Mm-hmm. So get this, right? They're talking about how they're chasing the Chinese market. So they asked him about Chloe Zhao and Simu Liu. They said they're 2 of the biggest breakout Hollywood names of 2021 because of Nomadland and Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi and Eternals got shut out of China because of the comments they made years ago about living there. Do you think that will have a chilling effect on how Hollywood hires Chinese expat actors and filmmakers for major projects? Yeah, I think they'll have to, and you're absolutely right. There's this irony that I'm sure both of these hiring decisions were made in part because they thought would help in China. That would help in China. Chloe Zhao was exalted in China before those comments were unearthed. And with Shang-Chi, obviously they needed to hire an Asian actor, but the green lighting of that movie to begin with was something of a China play.
Shocker.
So this is backfiring massively on Hollywood and Disney in particular. Look how diverse and inclusive we are. Oh my God, our actors said something that China doesn't like.
Well, like this too, they said the comments that were unearthed were so old and relatively innocuous and obscure, and and China reacted the way they did. So that there's no way to predict what's going to piss China off. Is basically what they're saying. So you're banking on this, and you're banking on their money and their audience, and then oh look what happened with was it John Cena who made the comment about Taiwan?
Oh yeah, he had to apologize in Mandarin. I'm like, what?
Things that you wouldn't think that would be a big deal, it's insane.
I mean, well, it was like going back a couple of decades, like Richard Gere, because he supported Tibet. They were banning his movies.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, so this has been going on for a long time. I just never
pay attention because Richard Gere and I could care less.
but no, it's funny and it's ironic because Disney in particular has been trying so hard
again, Iger
pander to China, and it has blown up twice in a matter of months. In their faces.
Well, not even 3 times if you count Mulan.
Oh, Mulan,
which wasn't that long before it.
So in the course of a year, they had 3 high-profile Chinese misfires, and now there are problems with some of the movies getting released in China at all. Not necessarily because of the content, but just the Chinese public does not seem interested. I know a lot of their animated movies now, they're not really that interested in. But yeah, they said, do they have to screen everybody better? Or they just say, look, there's never going to be a way for us to anticipate what China will take an issue with. So let's just avoid such hires altogether. A lot of the executives making these decisions will view the risk on these hires as just getting higher and higher because of China's aggressive response. Oh, they mentioned Mulan. Beyond Marvel, Disney had a massive misfire with Mulan, which got panned on social media in China. But at the same time, it was just a few years ago that Disney found huge success with Zootopia and Coco. The latter of which was designed to appeal to Mexican moviegoers, but won over China because of its theme of honoring the dead.
There was a similar theme, with what they believe.
Very surprising, because usually you're not allowed to talk about the afterlife at all. And
that's why over is it Hong Kong? They have it was Hong Kong, right? That has the Mystic Manor, which is really cool, by the way. If you've never seen Mystic Manor, go look up Mystic Manor in Hong Kong. It's flipping awesome. It's like their version of the Haunted Mansion, but they can't do ghosts. It's very cool. Yeah,
I really wish they would. I mean, now we're going off on another tangent, but I kind of wish they would bring that out over here, but make it
Journey into Imagination. They did Journey into Imagination like that. It would be really cool.
Yeah, I forget the name off the top of my head, but the professor and the monkey just switch them out for Figment and Dreamfinder, and do something very similar. I think.
Yeah, it's really cool. Anyway,
they said given the trend that. Disney's been striking out in China. Do you think Hollywood may just give up on trying to make global tentpoles that specifically cater to Chinese audiences? This guy says that's the lesson that some of the most observant executives have learned. For a while, the studio's efforts to bend over backwards to appeal to China did bear some fruit, like Transformers.
Yes, Transformers. I mean, it was clear that China was paying for a lot of that movie.
Yeah, what was it? The fourth movie, like half of it took place in China.
Yeah, we're just like...
It's like now they're going to China for no reason, and we're shoehorning Chinese actors in here for no reason.
And then when you look into it, it's because they funded a lot of it, I'm sure. But the Mulan thing, though, I do remember, because I covered it, they were doing all kinds of... They had, an advisory board from China, and they had all this stuff. They took out... I guess there was a kissing scene. They took that out because they didn't want to offend their sensibilities. And they pandered so hard for this movie to that audience, and it bombed there. And it did not do great here either.
No. As China's own movies get better and better, more sophisticated, more commercial, audiences started preferring them.
And now their box office is doing very well.
Yep. It shouldn't have come as a surprise, but I think it did. And so by the time something like Mulan came out, Chinese audiences rejected it because they have China's version of the same
they have
story.
Better version of Mulan than their own.
Would we expect American audiences to go see a Chinese version of Davy Crockett? That's
a valid point.
That could be amazing.
I would like to see that, actually,
That could be absolutely amazing. I would kind of like to see a Chinese...
Or like a cowboy movie.
A cowboy movie. Oh, my God. That was like... what was the Bollywood movie that Pinky Boo was watching where they're doing the cowboy scene?
Oh, I don't remember which one it was. But
It was hysterical. I was like, oh, my God, is this what they actually think of?
With the Shang-Chi, the Simu Liu thing, they were making all kinds of comments on the Chinese social media accounts. They had lots of opinions about that and about how I felt it was very stereotyped.
Yeah, basically they said what they like from Hollywood are movies they can't get anywhere else, which are, as you said, the big global films like Zootopia that aren't made with China in mind, but nonetheless have a cross-cultural resonance. So, golly gee willikers, this sounds an awful lot like some of the stuff we've been saying, where we're like, you just make your movie, you make your TV show, you make your video game. If other audiences like it, and they want to import it to their country, that's fine. But, Hollywood has been chasing China for so long now to their own detriment.
Well, like Star Wars. It doesn't do that great in China. And Disney even got to the place where they were trying to translate novels into Chinese. They were trying to make their own novels for that audience.
Yeah.
Didn't do well. You never heard anything else about it, really. I don't think it performed as well as they expected. But then Pirates of the Caribbean, it's hot damn. They love that stuff over there.
Yeah.
That's just it. They don't like... I mean, if you just make movies like for your own intended audience, like America or whatever, and they might enjoy it. But when they pander, you're turning off their audience and our audience here, and it's dumb. And you don't do it. And I'm hoping he's right, and executives learned their lesson.
Well, it seems that way because there for a while it seemed like Chinese companies were buying Hollywood studios.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, 6 or 7 years ago. That's about right.
And they said Legendary announced that they did an equity stake sale, allows them to get back operational control from Chinese company. Has the era of American-Chinese showbiz partnerships come to an end? Legendary was one of the last deals standing. A lot of them had either dissolved or not really come to fruition. 6 years ago, maybe 7 or 8.
I remember.
Yeah, it was a fire sale. Everyone was chasing Chinese money. Now it's really settled down. I think Wanda has gotten out in a pretty significant way with Legendary. And they said, Alibaba has a stake in Amblin, but mostly it's everybody's jumping ship.
Well, I know too that when this was going down, that they were bringing up questions from the Department of Defense. We did a video before on that because part of the deal, I guess, they work with Hollywood on films, and they do some things where they might let them use different things that the Department of Defense owns. Unfortunately, though, when it was coming into, with the Chinese money, they didn't like it because some of that stuff was getting, put in places where it shouldn't be put. Things were getting leaked where it shouldn't be leaked, and they were worrying about it being a potential, threat. And so he was like, we want to stop giving, I think it was like tax breaks and stuff to some of the people that were in Hollywood using the Department of Defense stuff. That were working with China. They didn't want to let them use it anymore. And then nothing ever came of that either. If I remember, who was that? I can't remember who that was. I don't remember, but you know what I'm talking about.
It was a senator, yeah. I forget off the top.
It was like what, 3 years ago? I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember. I remember if YouTube commenters like us called out the fact that Hollywood was pandering too hard to the Chinese, you were called alt-right Yahtzees. You were called all kinds of names, and now the Wrap, which is a major Hollywood publication, is like, yeah, it's over. The whole Chinese thing, yeah, it's over. They're not even bothering anymore.
And China's just doing their own thing.
Yeah, that's exactly. Spider-Man No Way Home still hasn't gotten a green light, and theater owners are like, why? But they said they took an inward turn. They said that the reason American movies took off in China anyway was that in the 90s there wasn't enough weren't enough movies, so they started running American films.
A lot of these countries are making their own movies all the time, and China is one of them, and they're making huge movies over there anyway, and they don't need the Western box office or the Western film studios.
Yeah, they don't. They said that, China politics are everything. They said you're not allowed to be critical. They love Chloe Zhao until she opened her mouth and had a contrary opinion.
She said that from a while ago. So.
Yeah, it was like 12 years ago.
So
or something
anyway,
like that,
you don't like sometimes they'll forgive you here like James Gunn, but over there, forget it.
Yeah, we've got The Atlantic, how Hollywood sold out to China. So I loved it. Again, I love this because if you said these things
a couple of years ago,
which we did, you were called a racist. You were called, xenophobic. You were called, and now it's just common knowledge that the Chinese don't want American movies.
What gets me is a lot of honestly over there, they wouldn't want, we're going to call racist and xenophobic, but when they act like racist and xenophobic, that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just think it's funny.
Yeah, so I think it's over. I think Hollywood's love affair with China is over at this point. And again, they're going to look at Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is going to be a huge game changer, I think, for everything. Because one, Spider-Man was designed to be a fan-pleasing movie. First and foremost.
Imagine that. It did well when you please fans.
Yeah, it was.
You make a good story that pleases fans.
It was like 2.5 hours of fan wank, and it was good. Yeah, it was good. It did really well.
That's the thing. You make a good story, good characters, does well. Who'd have thunk it?
And also they've had Disney again 1 year they had 3 major misfires. Movies that were designed for China.
They had more than 3, but that specifically for China.
Yeah, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like every movie that Disney designed for China failed.
Mm-hmm. It didn't necessarily fail, but it didn't go in China.
No.
When you're comparing it to China, it failed. Yes.
Failed in China.
Yeah.
Failed in China. So yeah, I think this is definitely going to change things. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Gonna wrap it up?
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.